Yes.
Good evening. My name is Tom Davis. I'm a resident of Mason County. I'm also a past shop steward, CWA 1109, a lifelong union member, current member of Steelworkers Union National. And I certainly do believe that the talent and skill here, it can build a viable and a good facility, but it can't make a bad concept into a good concept. The decision by ORCAA to recommend conditional approval of the Adage biomass proposal prior to hearing public comments can be likened to that of a court of law handing down a decision before considering testimony. Nothing speaks more clearly to how little weight is given to public input in ORCAA's decision-making process, the results of which will affect all of our lives for decades. That said, it is my understanding that ORCAA must adhere to federal air pollution standards set by the Environmental Protection Agency, but the EPA recently announced that new medical evidence has raised enough concern to warrant a 3-year investigation, the purpose of which is to ascertain if their current regulations are sufficient enough to protect the public health. But the EPA failed to impose a moratorium on existing and proposed biomass fuel plants before embarking on their investigation, which makes about as much sense as trying to unfire a bullet aimed at the heart and lungs of the public. A more responsible course of action would be to postpone the permitting of all biomass fuel facilities until such time as the results of the EPA investigation can be integrated into the process. If ORCAA should decide to move forward with the permitting process before the EPA has had an opportunity to revise its regulations, the agency runs the risk of casting doubt on the necessity of its own existence. Locally, ORCAA is charged with the oversight of our most valuable natural resource, air. Air, as of yet, air is not a commodity to be sold in the open market, nor should its quality be mitigated to a level where it negatively affects public health, certainly not for the benefit of industry. Air is the very foundation of life itself, and only the most self-serving of industry efforts dare mount an attack on its quality. The compromise of air quality is not what ORCAA was designed to do. The implementation of established thresholds set by the EPA is. With respect to the Adage permit, a rush to judgment before all the relevant data can be assessed serves only to fuel suspicion that ORCAA is being pressured by a political and industry-driven agenda to circumvent the performance of its duty. To exclude from the permitting process imminent changes to pollution standards is to embark on a dangerous path, one that will likely terminate with the discovery of just how much air pollution the human body can withstand before succumbing to illness. ORCAA needs to consider that Mason County currently rates 37 out of 39 when it comes to matters of health. In fact, according to a study conducted by the Washington Department of Public Health, Mason County residents were found to have significantly higher levels of heart disease, cardiovascular disease, and upper respiratory problems when compared to state levels. These are the people who will get sick first and possibly die sooner than they would have otherwise. Such is the true cost and consequence of an ORCAA process that is limited in scope and distorted by expediency. And if the current state of our health is not a criterion of ORCAA's permitting process, then we need to lobby our legislators to create other, more effective agencies. In closing, if the EPA determines that emissions from biomass to power technology is capable of reducing dangerous emissions to a level where it is not harmful to the public health, then and only then should the permitting of such facilities begin. To do otherwise negates the entire purpose of the Olympic Clean Air Agency. Thank you.